Something unexpected might be around the corner in Formula 1. Reports suggest that Valtteri Bottas could find himself back on the grid earlier than many assumed. Alpine is now being seen as the most likely team to offer him a seat, especially if they move on from their current second driver, Franco Colapinto. The Argentine hasn't delivered the impact the team was hoping for, and Alpine's leadership seems done with waiting around. Their message is loud and clear: they'll keep switching drivers until they find someone who truly fits. So, is there a real possibility Bottas will suit up for the remainder of the 2025 season? If that happens, what happens to his upcoming plans with Cadillac, where he was expected to start a new chapter from 2026 onwards? Let's be real. Alpine are having one of their worst seasons in recent memory. They're stuck at the very bottom of the constructors' standings, managing just 11 points so far. And what makes the situation worse? All of those points have come from one man, Pierre Gasly. The second seat has been nothing short of a headache. Even after letting Jack Doohan go and giving Colapinto a shot, who looked promising last year with Williams, nothing has improved. Alpine's troubles aren't just mechanical, there's clear frustration at the top. Flavio Briatore, who's back pulling the strings behind the scenes, isn't staying quiet. He's already started scouting for another driver to pair up with Gasly, and from what insiders are saying, Bottas is right at the top of that list. Briatore has already delivered a sharp warning to Colapinto: both the driver and the car need to step up fast. If this partnership is to continue, after the Austrian Grand Prix, Briatore didn't hold back. He pointed out that the car was performing well enough to make it into Q3, but the team is still struggling to have both cars where they need to be. Franco did manage to clear Q1, but fell short when it mattered most. This isn't just a minor concern for the team, it's a pattern they can't afford to ignore. Briatore made it clear that progress must happen quickly if Alpine wants to become competitive again. It's not just about one-off performances anymore. They need both drivers contributing consistently. Right now it feels like they're operating with only half a team, and that's not sustainable in such a cutthroat environment. The reality is, Franco Colapinto hasn't lived up to the expectations placed on him. Sure, no one expected him to start scoring points every weekend, especially given how tough things have been at Alpine this year. But still, there was hope that he could replicate some of the promise he showed while driving for Williams last season. Unfortunately, those flashes of talent haven't turned into results. Briatore knows the car has its problems, but he's just as focused on the drivers. He believes the issues need to be fixed early in the season to have any chance of salvaging results later. His concern is valid. The car shows glimpses of speed during qualifying, yet everything seems to fall apart on Sundays. Understanding why this keeps happening is key, and if they can't solve it, the rest of the season might slip through their fingers. Looking for solutions, Alpine might not need to search far. Bottas fits their criteria well: experienced, dependable, and familiar with what it takes to handle pressure. From Alpine's perspective, he checks all the right boxes. If you look at it from Bottas's side, stepping in at Alpine wouldn't be a setback. In fact, it could be a smart move to stay sharp before his next planned chapter with Cadillac in 2026. Even if Alpine isn't competing at the front right now, the opportunity to stay in the car and keep racing is valuable. It maintains his rhythm and keeps his name active in the paddock. For a driver with his background, that's more important than sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen. There's no sugarcoating it. Alpine is in a rough spot. They're last in the standings. The car isn't reliable over a race distance, and they can't rely on both seats to bring in points. So, for Bottas, this wouldn't be a glamorous return. He could be fighting toward the back of the field, but at this stage in his career, that might be worth it if it leads to something bigger in the long run. What makes things complicated is Alpine's future plans. With the new technical rules coming into effect, Alpine will be switching to Mercedes engines starting in 2026. That makes their next few moves crucial. They won't want a short-term fix, they'll want someone they can trust during the transition. Bottas, with his past Mercedes experience, brings exactly that. But if he agrees to drive for Alpine now, it could change everything. He might be viewed as more than just a temporary solution, possibly even a long-term part of their rebuild. That decision could affect his planned future with Cadillac, and that's the tricky part. Does Bottas risk delaying or losing his Cadillac opportunity just to help Alpine through a tough patch? The internal state of Alpine isn't encouraging. There's confusion, pressure, and a lot of uncertainty. Alpine has been anything but stable. The fact that they've brought back Flavio Briatore, a figure known as much for controversy as for leadership, says a lot about how desperate the team is to fix their problems. They've shuffled through drivers, struggled with pace, and now sit at the bottom of the championship. Bringing Bottas into this environment might help, but it might also drag him into a mess that's too deep to climb out of. From Bottas's perspective, that's a serious risk. Joining a team stuck in chaos, with no clear long-term plan in place, could damage the final years of his career. And if Cadillac sees him working with a struggling outfit like Alpine, it may affect their confidence in him. They're trying to build something fresh and competitive. The last thing they want is a driver whose focus seems divided or uncertain. It's not just about performance. It's also about perception. In motorsports, image matters. If Bottas is seen negotiating with Alpine now, while also being linked to Cadillac, it may raise questions about his commitment. From Cadillac's point of view, they need someone fully invested, not someone seen as keeping options open. Yet Bottas has always carried himself with professionalism. He's aware of the politics involved in getting or keeping a seat in Formula 1. And while he doesn't have the kind of financial backing some younger drivers bring to the table, what he does have is experience, results, and a clear understanding of what it takes to be competitive, especially under pressure, as he explained. In a recent interview, discussions between his team and Alpine have taken place. He hasn't been involved directly, but he trusts his management to look at possible opportunities. The potential move is still uncertain, but it's very much alive. Bottas also mentioned that Alpine's switch to Mercedes power units could be a positive step, something he's very familiar with. He knows the engine inside out, having raced with it during his time at Mercedes, where he collected multiple wins and podiums. That experience could be invaluable to Alpine as they try to rebuild their performance structure around a new powertrain supplier. But let's not forget Alpine has already changed its driver lineup once this season, and the second seat still hasn't delivered what the team hoped for. Bringing Bottas in could stabilize things, but only if the rest of the setup, the car, the strategy, the engineering team, also improves. One man alone can't turn around a sinking ship, especially in a sport as complex as Formula 1. There's also a big unknown here, the Cadillac project. While the American squad is not yet on the grid, they are building momentum behind the scenes. Backed by big investment and entering with Ferrari engines, they seem serious about making an impact. And in that light, Bottas might prefer to wait for something new and exciting, instead of taking a risk with a team already stuck in the mud. If Bottas signs with Alpine now, there's a real possibility he'll be tied to them into the new era of regulations. That would mean passing on Cadillac, a brand that could become a major player if things go to plan. So the choice facing him isn't just about 2025, it's about the next 3 or 4 years of his career. He's at a point where every move matters. There's no time left for bad decisions, and the wrong team could cost him the final high-level chance he has. Whether he plays it safe or takes a gamble might define how his time in Formula 1 is remembered. There's no denying that Valtteri Bottas still has a lot to offer. He's a 10-time Grand Prix winner, has stood on the podium more than 60 times, and was a core part of Mercedes during one of the most dominant stretches in Formula 1 history. His calm demeanor, technical feedback, and consistency are exactly what a team like Alpine could benefit from. But at the same time, his future needs to be protected, and that's the biggest question right now. The Cadillac opportunity, though still forming, seems promising. The team wants a mix of experience and youth, and Bottas fits perfectly into that veteran role. He could mentor the younger talent, help shape the team culture, and bring immediate know-how to an ambitious project. But that all depends on timing. If he commits to Alpine too soon, Cadillac might look elsewhere. And names like Sergio Perez are still floating in the market, experienced, motivated, and available. Bottas is in a rare position. 2 teams are seriously considering him, even though he's currently not on the grid. That's a testament to his value. But the next step he takes must be measured. Alpine may give him a car, but not the results. Cadillac may offer long-term promise, but requires patience. Neither option is perfect. And that's what makes this decision so important. So what's the best move? That's hard to say. But one thing is certain. Whoever signs Bottas will get more than just a race driver. They'll get a proven professional with real experience in building a winning team. Whether it's Alpine in damage control or Cadillac building from the ground up, Bottas could be the steady hand they both need. The motorsport world now waits. Will he choose the familiar, or take a chance on the unknown? Only time will tell, but whatever happens, it's going to shape the next chapter of his F1 story in a big way.